Hey guys, and welcome to this ICT all-in-one indicator setup guide. As you might have already noticed, all the settings like the kill zone boxes, previous day high and low, all these timings are specifically already pre-modified to work on CME future index charts. So if you trade, for example, Euro US dollar, you would type in 6E1, and then you would see that all the timings and all that stuff still lines up perfectly because it's still a CME chart. We still have our previous day high, which is correct. We have our daily open at 6 p.m. New York time. We get the daily divider. We reset the VBO at this time. We have the midnight level. That's all being detected perfectly. But if you move over to, let's say, the S&P 500, because you trade a CFD chart, SPX would be the short one for that. SPY. SPX 500. Yeah, let's say you trade with 8-cap or Black Bull. Let's use Black Bull as an example here. And we go to something like the 15-minute time frame. Let's take a look at that, what the indicator will draw on our chart then. So we still, right here at 18, we still get the correct daily open, but the daily divider is off. Also the Asia and kill zone timing. And why is that? It's because every single broker on TradingView or data provider has the different GMT input. Even though you have it set to UTC -4, this does not affect or apply to simply every broker. So what do we have to do? We have to modify the indicator ourselves and then later on save it as a template, because then you don't have to worry about it afterwards. And I think it's really important that once you purchase the indicator, you also know how to set it up properly. This is why we're taking this time to make this video. And yeah, hopefully you understand the indicator afterwards completely and how to modify its settings. So we simply start by opening up the settings, and let's put it over here to the right. We do not need the power of 3 indicator. This one is still working. We leave the kill zone boxes, we turn them off for now. The previous day's high and previous day's low is still being calculated correctly. They also begin at the correct time, so we don't have to worry about that. We also see that jump in time from 4:45 p.m. down here. That's what I'm looking at. 4:45 and then 6 p.m. on Thursday. So there's also this little gap. You can see that on our chart right here as well. And the new day begins already at the correct time. So we only have to worry about the daily divider first, which is currently starting at 9 a.m. New York local time on Thursday. So we simply calculate 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. That's where it should start. That is 32 bars or 9 hours. And then we simply go into the settings. We look for the daily divider, and it's starting here at 4 p.m. We have to add 9 hours on top of that, if I'm correct. Yep, 9, 8, yep, that's 9 hours. So 9 hours on top of 16 would be 25. We don't have 25, so it's 1 a.m. in the morning. And 9 hours on top of here, 2 hours, and we would be at 8 p.m. New York local time. Oh, we already said it correctly. All we had to do is modify the first input, and now we have the daily divider every day at the same time at 6 p.m. We already have the labels Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's already set up correctly. Now we can see that the previous day high, previous day low is all being drawn correctly. Previous week's low. The new week opening gap is automatically drawn correctly. We have the VWAP resetting at the correct time. So yeah, that's pretty much perfect. Now let's worry about the midnight open. Let's see where midnight opens up here. I suspect it's not the correct time. We will see. It's at setting, or no, it's set to the midnight. Okay, that's perfect. But let's assume the midnight open would be off. What we would need to do is the same thing which we just did for the daily divider. We scroll down to the midnight open settings and we simply modify the time. So let's say the midnight open would start at, let's say 22 here on Thursday at 10 p.m. basically. All we would need to do is modify the midnight open settings to whatever time necessary, because like I said, every broker has their own setting or time zone setting here on TradingView. It doesn't matter if you have to modify it to 2 a.m. and then you over here you simply type 02 semicolon 01, and then it's added, and now it's automatically starting at 2:15 here on the 15-minute time frame. And you simply have to modify that until it is correct on your chart. It doesn't matter which settings you have in the indicator, because that's different with every broker here on TradingView. Let's modify that back here quickly. We had it set to midnight 00 and 0001. Perfect. And now let's wait for the indicator to update. Did it? Where are we at? Midnight? Ah, no, it didn't update. I don't know why. 00, 00, 01. We press OK. Now it should. And let's worry about the next step, which would be the kill zone boxes. So now the midnight open is back where it belongs, at the midnight opening price. And let's deal with the kill zone boxes now. Let's go to a 5-minute time frame so we can properly see what we need. Alright, we have the daily divider, we have the previous day's high, that's all working correctly. And now we have the Asia session and the New York session. So the New York session is always shown with the initial settings right here in a yellow color, and Asia is always shown in a red color. Let's turn on the London kill zone as well and see where we're ending up here. And like always, now we just have to modify the specific settings, because the timings are off with every different broker. So if I would switch over to 8cap now, it would also be off again. So it's not that simple for me to adjust it depending on the broker time. That's why we have to do it manually. But you only have to do it once and then save it as a indicator template. It's pretty easy. Okay, right now we see that the blue box almost perfectly refers or matches up with the Asia kill zone. So what we do here is we look at the time when London is starting right now. London is starting at 7 p.m. and ending at 10 p.m. For me, I always draw the Asia kill zone box. If we take a look at the CME chart, ESZ. No, we don't have that right here. Let's simply create a new chart and head over to ESZ. We use our regular template and we add the ICT all-in-one indicator to our chart. Because not everyone is trading the futures. Alright, let's turn on our kill zone boxes, because right here we already have the correct timings. We make sure that we are not going to make some mistakes. Asia is starting at 8 p.m. New York local time and ending at midnight. So we want to do exactly the same thing here. And therefore, we look at the Asia session, we look at the start, we measure from when it's starting right now over to when we want it to start, which would be 8 p.m. here on Friday, or on Thursday theoretically, according to New York local time, 8 hours. So we simply now go into the settings and go to the Asia kill zone start and add 8 hours on top of that. Right now it's starting at 7 p.m. Those settings always refer to New York local time. If there's something off, simply hover over this little information button, and here it tells you input the time you want in New York local time plus 1 hour. The input time is off by 1 hour. If you want the session time at 4 a.m. New York local time, select 4. And that only refers if you trade on a CME futures chart. So the setting was set at 7 p.m. We had 8 hours on top of that. Let's try to not get confused. It's really, really simple. We measure from when we want it to start or from where it's starting right now to where we want it to start, we set 9 hours. And 9 hours on top of 19 would be 28. We don't have 28. So 5 hours would be midnight. Then we have 4 hours left. So we would start it at 4 a.m. to make it work. And then the kill zone always goes for 4 hours here during Asia. Or we simply measure the ending time. Let's do it again. You can already see now it's starting at 21. I think we made a little math error. So now we see it's starting at 21, but we wanted to start at 20. 21, 20, that's 1 hour. We have to deduct here. We scroll down to the settings and we started at 3. Let's wait for the indicator to update. And now the red box is starting at 8. Perfect, that's what we wanted. We scroll down to the settings now. Now, first of all, we have to measure when we want it to end. Right now it's ending at 4 p.m. and we want it to end at midnight, which is a 8-hour difference. We could also start to measure from the beginning of our kill zone till midnight. That's 4 hours, and then we simply go back into the settings. We scroll down to our Asia kill zone box. We add 4 hours on top of this input, which would be 7 a.m. And now the Asia kill zone box should be set correctly. Ending at midnight. Midnight open is already correct. And starting at 8. Perfect. Now we want to worry about the London kill zone box. The London kill zone box usually starts right now because of the daylight savings time. It's starting at 3 a.m. Usually it starts at 2 a.m. We do the daylight saving time setup right now. So once again, same process. We measure from the beginning right here at 7 p.m. We measure to where we want it to start, and that's a 8-hour difference. And then all we do is we scroll down to the London kill zone box setting, kill zone box settings. We add 8 hours on top of that, so that would be 10 a.m. And then the London kill zone goes for 3 hours from 10 until 13. And now let's see if it's being drawn correctly. If not, we maybe have to add 1 hour on top, but it's starting already at the correct time. Let's go to yesterday to see if it's ending also at 6. Perfect. So Asia and London is already set. Let's deal with the New York session. Therefore, we have to go back to yesterday. New York is always starting at 8 for me until 11. And all we do, like always, we measure from right here until the beginning, 8 a.m. That's a 8-hour difference. 8-hour difference. New York, we add 8 hours on top of 7, which ends up being 15. It goes for 3 hours, so 15 plus 3 would be 18. And now the New York kill zone box should start at 8 and end at 11. Perfect, exactly like we wanted. And now we already have the kill zone boxes set up according to the Black Bull GMT offset. Alright, this is all done. We can also look at the kill zone backgrounds because they will likely be off as well. Let's see. We have Asia, we have London, and we have New York. No, they seem to be working correctly. So I think it's only a matter for the kill zone boxes right here. They don't really work well. It's hard for me because I put in over 2,000 lines of code, and to make everything work smoothly with each other, I had to make some cuts. So this is why you have to modify the kill zone box settings like that, and also for the daily divider. But yeah, once you finish setting it all up to your liking, you simply click on Save Indicator Template, call it ICT, and then you use, let's say, for example, Black Bull. You remember the symbol, you remember the interval, and then you click Save. And let's say you switch over to the ESZ chart, but you don't trade ESZ, and you want to start with a fresh chart. All you have to do is now select ICT Black Bull, and now you're on the ICT Black Bull chart, and your indicators should come up with the same settings. And now Asia is starting at 8, ending at midnight, exactly like it's supposed to. We have the daily divider at the exact time, 6 p.m. New York local time. Perfect. That's all we wanted to do, and it's working fine. All the other settings in here, market structure, fair value gaps, volume imbalances, SMT divergences, the standard deviations, they're not affected by the timings, depending on which broker data you're looking at, basically. It's only important for the session background settings, kill zone boxes, when the daily opening is, the midnight level, Sunday settings, the VWAP setting, the daily divider mainly, and the highs and lows for the previous day. Let's also take a look at one more example to really make it clear. Let's look at Euro, US dollar, OANDA and see what the ICT all-in-one indicator looks like here. We're still on a 5-minute time frame. You can see the timings are off by a little bit. We still have our previous day's high, previous day's low, but we want to make sure that everything is set correctly. So here on the OANDA chart, the first thing I usually do if I modify the settings for the indicator on a new chart like OANDA, like we always say, new broker, different time zone settings, I'll always look or refer to where Sunday starts. Here we have Friday, 4:50 p.m., 4:55, and here we have Sunday at 17. This tells us that the daily candle always opens at 5 p.m. Right here, that's Sunday, that's already working correctly. And right here, the daily divider is starting at 1. So we want to modify that. Right here, we also have the daily divider starting at 1, but we want it at 5 p.m. this time. So same process. We measure back to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. here for the new daily opening on the OANDA chart would be minus 8 hours from what is currently set in the settings. So what do? Let's get rid of the chart settings, open up the indicator settings. We scroll down to the daily divider and we deduct 8 hours from that. Right now it's starting at 1. 1, 7, 24, 17. Let's see what 17 looks like. If it's then starting correctly. No, we get an error. Calculation timed out, so we simply switch time frames and it should start again. Alright, now we get the correct timing. 17 is the new daily opening, I think. No, I think that doesn't look correct. We always have to refer to where the previous days. So now we're on OANDA, and we already talked about that every broker has a different time zone setting. So what we do is we look at the beginning of where the previous day's high and previous day low label starts, right here at 6 p.m. Right now the daily divider is set to 17. So all we have to do is open up the settings and add 1 hour on top of this right here. We start the daily divider at 18 or 6 p.m. according to New York local time. And now that's already set. The Asia kill zone, London kill zone, and New York kill zone, you can see that they are kind of switched up here. Asia is normally here, London is normally where Asia is, and New York is usually where London is right now, at least the AM session. This would be the PM session background. The kill zone backgrounds, they work automatically without any problems. The midnight open, we can see even on OANDA, should be starting at the correct time. Yeah, that's already starting at midnight, so you don't have to worry about the midnight settings. But if you want to use the kill zone boxes, like before, what do? We want Asia to start at 8 p.m. And that's, once again, -7 hours. -7 hours. We scroll down to the kill zone box settings. Asia, starting right now at 3 a.m. -3 would be midnight, -4 would be 8. So we type in 20. It goes for 4 hours. So 20 plus 4 is 24, or midnight. You have to use 0000 for midnight with the indicator. And now the Asia box should already be set correctly. We do the same thing for London one more time to really make this clear. So London usually starts right here at 3 a.m. because of the daylight savings change. Next week that's going to be different, starting at 2 a.m. like always. So right now, once again, we measure from the beginning of the London kill zone, go back to where we wanted to start. That's 7 hours. So you can already see it's always 7 hours. With Blackboard it was 8 hours. It's because, yeah, some brokers use different times or have different GMT settings even here on TradingView. London kill zone, 7 hours, starting at 10 right now. 10 minus 7 is 3. Goes for 3 hours. 3 plus 3 a.m. is 6. Then we should already see the correct London kill zone box being drawn. There we go, perfect. And now we do the same thing for New York. Right now, starting here, we wanted to start here. That's once again 7 hours. It's always the same, but different between every broker. New York, minus 7 hours. 15 minus 7 is 8. So we put an 8 in here. We wanted to go for 3 hours. 8 plus 3 is 11. We put an 11 here. And now New York is starting once again at 8 a.m. New York local time and ending at 11 a.m. New York local time. And now we have our kill zone boxes, our VWAP, and all the other stuff set up correctly. We've done it for a S&P chart with Black Bull. We've done it with Oanda for a Forex chart. And now everything is set correctly. We have our previous week's high right here. Sunday is starting. Let's make sure it's also starting at the correct time. So we can see Sunday is still off by 1 hour. So we go to the settings and we scroll down to Sunday and we simply use 18 here because we can see 1 hour. We could also measure once again. Right now it's starting at 17. We wanted to start at 18. We've already done that. Done. Now it's starting correctly, and Sunday usually goes until midnight. And then Monday starts. And we're 1 hour away from that. So we scroll down to the Sunday settings and we select 24:00 because of midnight. And now it should display Sunday correctly. And the previous week's high, previous week's low should be done smoothly as well. Let's see. Is it done correctly? So Sunday, new week, Monday opened up. We have our previous day's high being at this level, that's matching up. Previous day's low is matching up as well. We head over into Tuesday, we get our daily divider. Monday's high right here, Monday's low right there. These lines are matching up. We go over to the next day, Euro US dollar. Tuesday's low, matching up. Tuesday's high is matching up as well. Then we go over to Thursday. We look at Wednesday's low, that's matching up with this orange line. And we look at Wednesday's high, which is right here, which is matching up with Thursday's line right here. And then once again for Friday, the current trading day, we have the low coming in right here with a wick. That's our Thursday's low. And we have our high matching up perfectly. So we know everything is set correctly. We have our previous week's high. If we look from last Monday to the Monday for this week, we have our previous week's high coming in from last Tuesday. That's working correctly. And our previous week's low has been put in place on Thursday. If we look at this range, also working correctly. We see here on Wednesday, we took out that previous week's low and reversed. Now we're on Friday, NFP Friday. And yeah, I hope it all makes sense now how to modify the indicator. It's not working automatically for all different brokers, all different symbols. It's different for every single one of them. But like said, it's always the same if you go to a simple CME chart. Because, I don't know, ICT is trading futures, I trade futures. That's why I automatically set the default settings to work on the S&P 500 and NASDAQ and also Euro US dollar futures chart. All you do is you type in the futures contract. Here we already have my drawings for the new day. You can see we continued lower here and the ICT all-in-one indicator settings don't match up right now. So we simply click remove. And if you trade futures chart, you don't have to worry about all that. You just add the indicator to your chart and all the settings are done correctly. You can turn on the new week, new day opening gap. That's also not an issue. It's only an issue if you trade, let's say, for example, with Oanda or one of these 50 different brokers right here offered on TradingView. So if we would go, let's say, back to our Oanda chart, and we want to display the new day and new week opening gap. Let's see where that comes in. New week opening gap is already drawn. Let's see, new day opening gap. Now, I just remembered that there is no new day or new week opening gap on these CFD charts, because if we look at it closely, there is no close, or there's no gap in the time. Here it's 7:55 and here it's 6 p.m. Well, if we go over to the futures contract, we can see we have a new day opening gap. Why do we have a new day opening gap here? Because futures stop trading at 4:55 and they open up at 6 once again. That's always when the new day is starting. I hope that all makes sense and you understood how to modify the settings of the indicator now. And yeah, if you still have questions, feel free to open a support ticket here on our Discord. All you have to do is you head over to the AZ Info Hub, you click on support and create a ticket, and then you scroll down to the bottom. Where do we have it? Now it's actually right here at the top, ticket 040. You type in a message and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Alright guys, thanks very much for watching this video. I hope it really helped, and we will see each other on Discord. Bye.